let's just go straight across to my colleague Vishnu Soma, because there's huge information coming that MS Dhoni will be in Kashmir serving the army for a matter of about 2 to 3 weeks, as we understand. Vishnu, what are you learning?
Well, this is quite interesting now, Amitoj, isn't it? The fact of the matter is that you're going to have an Indian cricketer actually doing serious service in the Indian Army. Now, it's not the first time that this has happened. A long time back, we had an officer who actually graduated to the rank of general, who also played Test cricket for India. But in this case, MS Dhoni is going to be doing active patrolling with the Indian Army. Now, he is going to be in the Kashmir Valley, which is hit by terrorism. He's going to be part of Victor Force, which is one of the primary anti-terrorism forces. He's going to be patrolling. He's going to be on guard duty, and he's going to be on post duty. He's going to be staying with the troops as well. Remember, MS Dhoni is a lieutenant colonel, an honorary one, with the 106 Territorial Army battalion, which is a para unit, a para special forces unit of the Territorial Army. But the fact is, he has signaled his intent to take this honorary rank very seriously, which is why in a short period of time from the 31st of July onwards, for at least a couple of months, I'm told, he's going to be in Kashmir and he's going to be patrolling with soldiers of the Indian Army. It's quite clear, Amitoj, that Balidan badge, which the ICC got him to remove during the World Cup of cricket, means the whole world to him. He is serious about this, and he's going to be over here in Kashmir, and he's going to be doing this.
Yeah, but Vishnu, when you say he's going to be in active patrolling, guard and post duty with the Victor Force, which is the primary, counter-terrorism unit, is that something that could be potentially dangerous for him?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I think that raises some important points, some important questions. While at one level, MS Dhoni choosing to do this shows his spirit, shows how important the Indian Army is for him. Many people would be wondering whether there would need to be very many soldiers deployed to protect him as well, and whether if that's the right thing to necessarily have gotten or allowed him to actually get into. I don't think anybody is questioning his physical fitness, but the training to use a gun, for example, is something which army soldiers train all their careers for. It's not just physical fitness. There is an issue of safety. Being in Kashmir at one level sends a very strong message, a message of MS Dhoni being brave and MS Dhoni wanting to be part of the soldiers and not just be considered honorary because that's the title that he has, but there is without any doubt a real issue of his safety. So that's something that the army would need to factor in very closely. I should mention, and I think it's useful to contrast MS Dhoni's way of going about with his honorary rank and that of Sachin Tendulkar. Sachin Tendulkar is also an honorary officer in the Indian Air Force, but other than one joyride on a fighter aircraft and the occasional appearance on Air Force Day, he hasn't really been part of the units in the same manner in which MS Dhoni now proposes to do.
All right, and all of this comes at an interesting time, Vishnu, because you're out there in Dras, in Jammu and Kashmir, at a time when we are looking back at 20 years, and you've been looking back at 20 years of the Kargil War. So MS Dhoni will be there at a time like that. So just take us through what all is happening, what all could he potentially be seeing himself also?
Well, it's interesting that you should mention the Kargil War, because just behind me, that peak right behind me is Tiger Hill. It's the Tiger Hill, which was liberated by the action of the Grenadiers Regiment, along, of course, with the role of the Indian Air Force, which had launched laser-guided bombs on it. It's 20 years of the Kargil War tomorrow. Tomorrow is Kargil Vijay Divas, and the President is going to be here. I'm in Dras. This was an area 20 years ago where there was intense artillery shelling. Driving down this road meant asking for trouble. We were told by the army, don't stop, keep driving, because chances are that from top of Tiger Hill, using air defense guns, they would be taking or picking targets on the road, vehicles on the road, and you could in fact be hit. We were very lucky not to be hit at that stage. But in fact, but to answer your question directly, in terms of the timing, it's interesting. Tomorrow is a day when we look back at 20 years after the Kargil War. We look back at the Kargil War, the immense bravery of our men and women in uniform. And now you've got, a legendary person, a legendary Indian, MS Dhoni, a very fine human being, whose commitment and his belief in the Indian Army sort of coincides with India celebrating 20 years of the Kargil war. So without a doubt, Amitoj, the timing of all of this is interesting and sort of seems to add to that sense of patriotism and nationalism.